Hello folks, you have reached Wednesday, well done to you. We are halfway through the week. If you're back at work, well done to you. Make sure you're crushing it and you're going to get there, and I'm going to try and make sure that you do. And if you're off work, congratulations, here's some more hobby nightmares to get you through some time with your family that you're desperately trying to claw your way through in this Christmas period. If you like what I do, the subscribe button is down below, and the real one is right next to that, the bell notification icon. If you click that, YouTube will tell you I am here. If you do not click that, they will not tell you I am here. Ever. You will never see me again. And if you like what I do, if you really, really, really like what I do, then the Patreon is down below. If you want to buy me a pint for New Year's, down there it goes. And hey, let's get on with some hobby nightmares, shall we? Chip says, "Hi Northern, I've been listening to your YouTube channel heavily since discovering it only a few weeks ago. Brilliant. First off, thank you for the mental motivation and support you provide to hobby enthusiasts all over the world. And it's an absolute joy to watch your channel grow." Cheers, mate. Yeah, that's pretty much what the channel's for, in essence, is making sure that people are okay. Basically. Yeah, it's supposed to read like we're at a bar and I'm reading things that people have sent to me just so we can have a laugh over it, you know, give you a few minutes off from your daily routine. Before I get into this absolute debacle of a 2-for-1 hobby nightmare, I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself, just for clarity. I was heavily involved in Warhammer 40,000 and Old World Warhammer since 93-94, so 1993-1994. I was actually a part of a gaming group that wrote to Games Workshop multiple times in the early days to get a store opened in my hometown of Harrogate, so we didn't have to nag our parents to take us to the Leeds store all the time. I stopped playing around 1998. I later rejoined the hobby in 2020 during the Nurgle Plague just for something to do. Anyway, on to the hobby nightmare. When myself and a few friends decided to pick the hobby back up in 2020, we all decided to learn together and paint our armies together. At the time, I decided to paint my army as Blood Angels, and my friend Kyle was doing Necrons. Okay, right, good choices, good choices. Especially, I do think, like, if you're going to do a successor chapter, if I could do another one all over again, I'd probably pick the Blood Angels as our chapter. You know, but anyway. After the social distancing was somewhat loosened, I decided to hold a hobby night at my business, a small tattoo studio, inviting a small number of close friends over. Everything was great. Everybody had a laugh and a few drinks and enjoyed each other's company, as well as learning the game together, and as I was a decent painter, I was teaching people different tricks and things that I had picked up. Yeah, I suppose as a tattoo artist you would be pretty good at painting too. Everything went well until my wife's friend asked for us to introduce her husband, Jess, to the hobby. Okay, any man with a woman's name? Just, sorry. Normally, like Ashley, who calls the son Ashley? Get out. Normally, this would have been welcomed, but I had met Jess a few times prior, and knew he was problematic, and that I'm never wrong meant... Okay, I'm going to have to read that again, because it's broken up a little bit. Please read over your emails before you send them to me. Okay, normally this would have been welcomed, but I had met Jess before, and knew he was a bit problematic with a I'm never wrong sort of mentality. Okay, so he's never in the wrong, this guy. A quick description of Jess. He is short, bald, and creepy. Well, let's hope for you all, lads. I mean, if Jess is getting girls, then, you know. Imagine one of the To Catch a Predator guys, and you are on the right lines. As we are all adults and just learning a new hobby, I hoped it wouldn't turn into an issue. I was wrong, and it did, but not in the way you would think. He was there only a few minutes before he began showing people videos of what can only be described as borderline animal stuff videos on his phone. As soon as the first complaint surfaced, me and my friend Kyle pulled him aside and warned him that this behaviour will not be tolerated, and that this is his one and only warning. Jesus, yeah, I mean, it's just therapy. Guy needs therapy, or medication or something. In an attempt to diffuse and distract everybody's disgust, I decided to offer to play a game against him to keep him busy for the rest of the night. I offered to do an easy 500-point game so I could share what I'd learned and teach him some 40k. I was informed by him that he already knew more than me, and he was going to school me with his meta Space Wolf army. I know. I mean, you know. I know I have a go at Space Wolf players all the time, but you know what I'm about to say, right? You know what I'm about to say. Don't look at me like that, right? You know what I'm about to say. Typical. There we go. I'm gonna skirt on past that. My army's better than your army. My dad could beat up your dad because my real dad left home for cigarettes and never came back. And I collect Space Wolves. And also, have you seen this animal stuff that I like? I like touching animals. Anyway, moving on. At this point, there was a prolonged but subdued chuckle around the room because of what he tried to show most of the room prior. I'm surprised you all know your memes so quickly. He proceeded to pull a commission-painted Space Wolf army out of an expensive-looking foam case. At this point, I thought I was going to get schooled. Yeah, I bet you're eating your words now. It's like prime painted Logan Grimnar comes out. We rolled off, and I got turn 1. I proceeded to kill his Bjorn Dreadnought with Eradicators at the beginning of the first shooting phase, at which point he lost his temper, grabbed his army, and stormed off. Wow, okay. Everyone laughed after he left, and we made, quite rightly, fun of his antics, and the big inside joke became Logan Grimnar bums dogs. You would hope this would be the last we see of Jess, but unfortunately, it got worse. So this smacks to me of a self-fulfilling prophecy. So this guy's acting weird, and normally what I would try and do with this guy is kill him with kindness, if I'm in the mood. If I'm in the mood and I have the mental capacity, I'll try and kill him with kindness. So try and be nice to him, say, look, man, this is what we're going to do. And as soon as he starts acting out, that's when you say, okay, off you go. You know, the animal thing might have just been a bit of a blip. It might have just been like I find this funny, here's this funny thing that I've seen, you know, and he doesn't quite get it. We could have something, we could have a mental issue, you know, you never know. But yeah, if you treat a guy this way, he's just going to get worse. He's just going to get worse. You're not treating the problem. You're laughing at the symptom. You know what I mean? Anyway. Fast forward a year. Into 2021, the hobby group had gotten involved in a local league where the tale of Jess had become an even bigger joke amongst more people, and the story had become somewhat exaggerated to the point where a local gaming store has some terrain with some anti-Space Wolf propaganda on it. Okay, this is where we're crossing the line. Right, I understand what you're doing. It's funny, but this guy lives there too. You know, maybe he's just having some mental issues. Maybe he's just not grown up a little bit. Maybe he just needs talking to. We're now getting into bullying territory. You know, we're going above and beyond. We're now kicking stray dogs, is what I'm saying. Right? We're going above and beyond. Give him a little bit of a ribbing, yes, but like, don't spread shit about him. That's not right. That's not right. Maybe it needs a bit of help. Yeah, towns in England aren't that big. You know, it's going to get around, and no one's going to want to play with this guy. You know, don't ruin somebody's hobby just for them being weird one time. This was when it all went extremely wrong. 3 of my group of now very close friends showed up to a local tournament. There was myself, Kyle, and our newer friend, Mike. Mike is an athletic hockey player who loves nothing more than committing what can only be described as 40k war crimes with his orc army. He is literally the perfect orc player. He doesn't care who wins, as long as something blows up and lots of dice are rolled. He's literally the life and soul of any game, as he laughs and cheers for everybody. He also looks like a beast snagger boss on steroids. Okay, cool. As we arrive to the shop, we are horrified, except for Mike, that Jess is there. I'm assuming because Mike doesn't know who Jess is. Both me and Kyle look at each other and shake our heads and make the Logan Grimnar joke to each other. Mike laughed and said I hope one of us gets paired with him. In the first round of pairing, as luck would have it, Kyle gets paired against Jess and gets tabled in turn 2 by some bullshit Thunderwolf charge. Well, it's not bullshit, man, if a Thunderwolf's charging at you. This is what I mean. I'm starting to think that maybe you've got it out for this guy. A little bit. And it is weird, and he did act like a dick that first time, but yeah. Jess berated Kyle about how his Necron army was weak and not worth his time playing. Okay, yeah. I mean, At this stage, I'm thinking he's working out some, like, pent-up aggression from his embarrassment last time. You know what I mean? Doesn't excuse him, though. He's being a douche. He continued to be an incredibly poor winner by flipping Kyle off and telling him he should just quit the hobby. Okay, yeah, I'm against this guy now. Fuck this guy. To which Kyle responded, I may have lost, but at least I don't molest dogs. This is pettiness 101. This is pettiness, the story. Like, literally. It's just all around. I love it. Jess turns bright red as Kyle points out a piece of terrain blazoned with anti-Space Wolf graffiti. The next round put Jess against a 13-year-old kid, and his table was directly opposite mine. Okay. Opposite mine and Mike's respectable tables. Okay, cool. Excellent. I told one of the judges to keep an eye on the kid because Jess was already behaving like a 4-year-old on a power trip, and I didn't want the kid's day to be ruined. Okay. All right, we're telling tales again, right? We're telling tales again. We're right back to bitching down somebody's back. He's being a dick. As soon as you start being a dick with this kid, that's when you go to the tournament organizer and you ask him and you tell him, look, this is what's going on at that table. You're preempting. Don't preempt. Okay? Just none of your business. But yeah, I've just, it's one of those. I'm guessing there's another half to this story that from Jess's point of view. It's just a sixth sense thing that's going off in my head. Because you're preemptively trying to mess with this guy, you know, rather than just like reacting to shit he's doing, you're actively going to mess with him, sort of a thing. You're trying to ruin his day. Even though he's a dick, I'm fully with you, he's a dick. I'm fully with you. If he's been a dick to your friend, complain about that. If he goes up, for all you know, he's gone up to this kid, shaking his hand and gone, okay, I want to make sure this kid has a good time. For all you know, that's what's going on in his head. You don't know what's going on in his head. Until he starts to exert problematic behavior, that's when you say, this is bullshit, please don't do that, and go to the tournament organizer and sort it out, right? Don't preempt, because you just don't know. You don't know. Meanwhile, Mike had switched a piece of terrain on Jess and the 13-year-old's table with the anti-Space Wolf terrain front and center. Yeah, again, you're acting like children. Do you know what I mean? This is what I mean. This is exactly what I'm saying. It's passive-aggressive. It's not clever. Like, I'm with you. Like, this Jess is a dickhead. I'm with you. But, like, you know. Anyway. Not 20 minutes into the next game, and Jess has begun screaming and yelling at the 13-year-old. Keep in mind, Jess is a 47-year-old man. He's screaming about some line of site terrain rule that doesn't exist. The kid doesn't back down and maturely says, you placed your troops there and told me that the terrain was obscuring and no line of sight can be drawn to or from it. You made the decision and you have to live with it. Fair enough, fair enough. I mean, he is acting like a dick, you know, and again, I'm not disputing the fact that this Jess is a knobhead. He is. But there's no reason to get involved in his antics, you know what I mean? Just, as soon as you start shouting, this is the moment now where you should go to the TO and say, this is bullshit, get this fucking guy out of here, please. You know, but preempting it, bit of a bitch move. But anyway, moving on. Jess begins to shove his finger in the kid's face, and the kid slaps it away. Before anyone can even react, this took a turn for the insane. Okay, if this has actually happened, this next bit, I'm going to eat this cup that's next to me. Jess begins to shove his finger in the kid's face, and the kid slaps it away. Before anyone can even react to this, took a turn for the insane, as Jess pulls a gun on the kid. In that split second, Mike leaps over the table and disarms Jess and choked him unconscious. Okay, this is getting beyond the territory of fan fiction. I'm going to read the rest of this, but I have a very strong suspicion that there has been some skullduggery has been going on here. Mike pins Jess to the ground and the store calls the police. I grabbed the gun with my Rona mask to remove it from the situation that was unfolding. I noticed that the gun was incredibly light and quickly realised it was a BB gun. Okay, now we're coming back to reality. Nevertheless, the police arrived and arrested Jess and took him to jail. Credit to the 13-year-old who was unfazed, asked me, Mike and Kyle, does every Space Wolf player have these emotional issues? We laughed it off, and as we gave our statements to the police, I asked the kid if he was okay, and bought him a Coke, and we all waited until his parents showed up. His parents thanked us, and he got into the car as he yelled as loud as he could, "Logan Grimnar bums dogs." Unfortunately, the only thing we know about Jess now is his wife divorced him and took half of everything. Both me and Kyle still play weekly, but now we focus on the less competitive 30k. Mike moved to New York and we don't speak that often. We have never seen the kid again, unfortunately. The store actually gave us the offending terrain as a souvenir. Pic attached. Yeah, I did see that pic as well. Yeah, man, I mean, I'm with you on Jess being a dickhead, and, you know, I'm just against kicking stray dogs. I'm a guy who likes to heal. You know, I will have a go at you if you're being a knob, but at the same time, this guy does seem to me like he's just, shall I say, in need of help to turn his life around. And yeah, he's not going to get it with people talking behind his back and shit like that. I agree with you. I'm with you in the story. I'm completely with you. I agree with you. I just think you could have handled it a little bit better. But anyway, moving on. Fox in the Box says, "Hey North, first of all, thanks for the content. It's truly awesome to have someone to talk to in a weird parasocial way." Yeah. I will get straight to the point. And that is that this hobby nightmare will be relationship related, but not in the way that you think. I met my now ex, let's call her Janice, as she kind of looks like that character from Friends, minus the laugh. I met her at a gaming group in 2014. If I remember correctly, Janice was the one with the weird laugh, but she wasn't ugly. She wasn't amazingly hot, but like she was like one of those women that I always figured that all of the women on Friends look kind of otherworldly, nice, you know, Jennifer Aniston, like the amazing looking woman, and then you have this woman, the girl who plays Janice, is a good looking woman in real life. That's what a real life good looking woman looks like. Do you know what I mean? You don't find Jennifer Aniston just walking down the street. You know what I mean? Anyway, moving on. I'm just talking rubbish. Moving on. Fox says, "We would get together in my local town here in the US. I won't say any more about the location to avoid people narrowing it down. As you can imagine, Janice would get a lot of attention from the guys of the gaming group, so when she started flirting, or when the flirting started between me and her, I kind of played it cool, and before long organised a big get-together just so I could speak to her in another setting. Ah, very smooth. That worked wonders, and before long we were dating and having a great time. I could not believe my luck that someone as attractive as her would go for a guy like me." Okay, so we're already seeing a disparity in the relationship stakes here. This is not a healthy relationship already, but moving on. Also, we were even into the same hobbies. She was really into Sisters of Battle and had a lot of really nice third-party miniatures that looked like the modern plastic sisters do. We had a load of top-quality games between us, and before long, she was spending longer and longer at my place, something I really didn't mind, despite really liking my own space. Okay, if you've only been going out with this girl for a few weeks, man, that is mistake number one. Okay, your space is your space, and make sure that you maintain that distance until you are sure this is a woman who is worth getting into a long-term relationship with. 101, man. Value your own space, value your own time. Okay, that's it. Remember when I said the other week that men control access to relationships and women control access to sex? I still stand by that. But the thing is, when you're controlling access to a relationship, you're controlling access to your time. Do you know when women say like the R word is wrong, which of course it is, right? When you are R-wording a woman, when you are doing that kind of a thing to a woman, you are taking their agency away from them. You are forcing them to have sex with you, which is completely a monstrous thing to do, right? The same thing goes for your time, because you control access to a relationship. When a woman just takes a relationship from you and forces you into one, which can happen, they use the sexuality to get in, they move into your place, right? And they start dominating your life. They are R-wording your life and your time. It's not as devastating mentally, nowhere near. It's not as devastating physically either, but it's a similar thing, right? It's a similar thing. They control access to sex, you control access to relationships. It is what it is, right? And if she comes in and moves in and dominates your life, I can see where this is going to go. Like if she dominates your life and makes you miserable, that's what she's doing. It's just a more long form of content. Now, don't get me wrong, I would rather have that than what women have to go through, you know, when that happens to them. It's still not right, though. You know what I mean? It's still not right. Anyway, moving on. He says, I'm a software engineer, so as you can imagine, I work from home quite a lot, and seeing this lady walk around in short shorts all day whilst painting models was something I could definitely get used to. It was awesome, and before long, a month or two of us being together, she had pretty much moved in. For God's sake. Dude, don't let her into the happy place. Don't let her into the happy place. I had no idea, though, what she did for a job. We spoke about our wants and needs for the future a lot, and she knew that I worked in computers. I kind of knew she was a model of some kind, and when I brought it up, she told me she was on Instagram and would get paid from there. Okay, big red flag. Big red flag. Being vague about what she does for a living, big red flag. Just big old red flag. May as well come in with it buried in her forehead. She got really defensive about it and said something like, and if you aren't man enough to handle that, you can fuck right off. I mean, okay, first red flag. No, that's not the first red flag, dude. The first red flag is when this woman wants to move in with you after a couple of weeks of you seeing her. That's the first red flag. That's the very first one. That is not the first red flag. We've seen at least 3 so far. Now you're just saying this is the first one. No, we've seen 3 so far. Moving on. The months go by, and some toxicity starts to creep into her behaviour, both at home and at the hobby store. She starts to be a lot more demanding of my time, told you, of my time, both in and out of the hobby. I am constantly building new models sent to her by her subscribers or whatever. Dude, she's a cam girl or something. I am driving her to events and meet and greets, fielding calls, etc. Slowly, her disorder comes into my home, and it kind of becomes her personal office. And this happens over the course of 7 to 8 weeks. Dude. This may seem odd, but please remember, this is the first woman I've been with in a long while, and I kind of think this is normal at the time. She's a hot woman, into the hobby, who takes care of my needs, is a really sweet person aside from her taking over my personal space. I mean, I start to find excuses for her. Yeah, this is what men do. This is what men do, right? When they're throwing a bit of pussy, this is what they do. Is they start to find excuses to keep the pussy around. But what you don't realise is when you do shit like this, you are losing worth in her eyes, and in most people's eyes. You are losing worth. Because if you don't have any self-worth, any self-respect, she's not going to respect you. Do you know when people say, you need to love yourself, and other people will love you as well? Right? You know, normally women say that. It's fucking nonsense, like most things that they say. Right? So when they say, love yourself, and other people love you. Yeah, what they mean by that is, righteously respect yourself. Know how much your time is worth, and know the sanctity of your own personal time and space, right? I'm currently seeing a girl, and she is out right now. She's out right now buying stuff that we're going to cook as a curry when she gets back. She'll get back in about 15-20 minutes. She's going to get back, we're going to cook a curry together, right? We're going to chill out, we're going to watch a movie or something, and then I'm going to come on my PC in my office, and I'm going to play some video games with my subscribers. She doesn't get a say in that. I just said, no, that's what I'm going to do now. You will sit here and you'll do whatever you want to do. Because my time's valuable and I value my time. And you know what? She loves that. She really likes that. That's why she's still here and I've stopped seeing it, right? She likes that. She's like, that's cool. You got your own thing. I'm going to go do my own thing. If that ever changes, that's when I'll say, okay, I'm done. I'm done. You know the kind of guy I am. You know what I like to do. I leave you to have your time, and I have my time. You don't do it all the time. You don't neglect people, you know. You make sure you do your bit, and you have fun, and you're with them. But if you need that time, your time is precious. Spend it accordingly. Spend your time like a miser spends his change. Honestly. Honestly. Respect yourself, and the respect will find you. That's when it started to take a bit of a turn. Like it hasn't already, dude. Come on, Fox. Jesus. Her behaviour started to be quite degrading against me. From comments about the way I look, to the way I painted models, to the fact that I had only had a small close circle of friends. She outright told me a few times that I was lucky to have her. Dude, kick her to the curb. Get her in the sea. This girl would have been so far on the sea, she'd have been in fucking Ireland by now if she was with me. This would be weeks ago, in the sea, in a bin. Floated out. Goodbye. Goodbye. And she'd be screaming at me, and she'd be going off into the distance, kind of like... Like that kind of a thing. Just off it goes. Just bye. Anyway. This started to weigh on me quite a bit, Fox says. If she was annoyed at a subscriber that she had, or her hobby, or anything, and I was nearby, she'd hit me. Okay, right, okay. She'd hit me like slap me on the back of the head and the arm. Sometimes if I didn't hear something she'd said, she would slap me in the face and ask if I was going to cry or not. Right, dude, this is getting beyond. Alright. I'm gonna tell you this right now, and this will get you put in jail, but I don't care. I don't care. I've been in situations where this hasn't quite happened more than once. So I've had a girl I was with slap me in the face for no reason. We were literally having an argument, right? And it wasn't an argument that warranted a slap or anything like that. She slapped me in the face. Okay? So, and because I was brought up right and I was taught how to do this by my mother. She told me exactly what to do. She's like, son, you're not going to prison for some bimbo, right? Because they will come along. My mum's a real one. They will come along. These hoes will come along and they will test you. This is what you do, right? So she slapped me in the face, and I was really hurt. Not physically, but, you know, I put my finger in her face, and I said, you get one free one. And I locked eyes with her. I said, you get one for free. That's it. You get one for free. Do it again, and you will get one back. She never touched me again. She never touched me again. Because she knew straight away, do that to me, I will hit you back a lot harder. A lot harder. Now, if she'd have done it again, I probably wouldn't have hit her. You know what I mean? Like, that's not the kind of guy that I am. But the threat needs to be stated. Like, excuse me, you don't have the right to physically harm me in any way whatsoever. If you touch me, I will touch you. That's it. We're living in the 21st century. If we're equal, we're equal. If you touch me, I'll touch you. That's it. If I'm in a club, this has happened before, if I'm in a club and a woman slaps my arse, I tell her to turn around and I slap her arse right back. We're in the 21st century. And do you know what? She's slapping your arse for a reason. They always turn around and let you do it, right? Yeah? It's 21st century. Don't hit me. If you don't want to get hit back, don't hit me. Simple. Now, if I do something that warrants you hitting me, you know, like if I need it, like if I cheat on you or something, yeah, that's all right, fair enough. You know what I mean? Like slap in the face, whatever, it's fine. But to physically abuse me, you'll get it straight back and I'll leave. I'll leave, right? Like physically abuse me, you get it straight back and I'll leave. You know, again, I'm not that kind of guy. I probably wouldn't have done it, but the threat kept it from happening again. Because I was serious. I was deadly serious. I just, no, don't do that again. That's beyond the pale. Do not hit people if you're in a relationship. Do not physically abuse people. I can't believe this needs to be said. Just don't. Just don't. As soon as it happens, if you want to still be with that person, right, let her know. Listen, do it again. You get one free one. Don't do it again. Do not do it again. The woman has to be mental to actually take you up on the offer if you're serious. If you look serious, right? Because she doesn't know what you're capable of, right? Obviously, we all know you're a normal guy. But she doesn't know what you're capable of. You say that to her, listen, you get one free one, and that's it. Don't do it again. And you lock eyes with her, and you let her know that's not what we're going to do here. Go for it, right? Now, if she does it again, leave. That'll be my thing. Leave. Just go, okay, there's your free one. You never said you're going to hit her. Do you know what I mean? That's the back out of jail free card. If she hits you again, say, okay, fine. Leave. Done. You're done. Me and you, we are finished. We are done. Goodbye. I'm gone. Right? I'm gone. Cool. I said you got one free one. You didn't take the hint. I'm gone. You physically abused me. I'm gone. You're an abuser. See you later. And leave. Go. That's the best advice I think I can give any man who's in this situation who gets hit. Right? Just say to her, you get one for free. One for free. That's it. Alright, moving on. This went on for a further 6 months. Fox, dude, what are you doing? This is what being drunk on pussy does to men. It puts them in these situations. Climbing in severity over time. Finally, one night I had enough, and after another argument, I told her if she hit me again that I would go to the police. Okay, finally, an ultimatum. She simply said, and I quote, "Go ahead. Who do you think they are going to believe? A big man like you, or the victim I will make sure they get to see. I've been abused before, I know what they look for, so stop being a little pussy." Jesus Christ, dude, just leave. March out. Go. I don't care if she's into the hobby. I don't care. Leave. Leave. Get out. Get as far away from this woman as you can. Put yourself in the bin and put yourself in the sea, if that's what it takes. Just get away. I did eventually go to the police, thank you, for help. And they said that I should just kick her out, quote unquote, it's your house. They advised me to kick her out, and when she wouldn't leave, to call them. This would then give them probable cause to come to the house and get rid of her or arrest her. They openly said I was lucky because if I was married to her and she lived there, then there would be next to nothing that they could do if the abuser was a woman. Wow. Wow. At least they're being honest with you. But Jesus. I couldn't kick her out though, and I know you will get so mad at me. I'm already mad at you. But I loved her. Yeah, of course you fucking did. You loved the vagina, man. You loved the vagina. It's different things. Different things. I'm going to say this for women now as well. If a man loves you, that's not good. It's not good if a man's in love with you. If a man likes you, that's where you want to be. That you don't want a man to love you. A man's love can be very aggressive. No. You want a man to like you. Like the girl I'm seeing right now, I like her. We're really good friends. Right? We're in that sweet spot right now. We're really good friends. But not like I would not want to. As soon as I start falling in love with this girl, I'll be like, yeah, listen, we need to take a little bit of a step back here, because I like you. This works. I'd marry you right now, you know, because I like you. You know, it's what it is. And if you like somebody, you can spend time with them without wanting to sleep with them. That's why I like my friends. I don't have sex with my friends. Anyway, moving on. Eventually, we had a massive argument when she found out I'd gone to a local gaming group with some friends, one of whom was a girl called Sarah. Nothing happened, but that didn't matter to Janice. Yeah, this is what... Yeah, I'm just going to carry on reading before I start spewing everywhere. She threw several things at me, and when I got back, and eventually, she hurled a Land Raider and several boxes of Eldar Guardians at my head. Now, those were models I was most proud of when I was a kid, because they were the first models that I'd really painted that my grandma got for me, and they meant a lot to me. She bypassed the other more expensive models and went straight for them as her ammunition, knowing just how to hurt me by ruining childhood memory. Knowing she knew just how to hurt me and that she'd done it at a moment's notice, I just snapped. Okay, dude, I'm really hoping that you don't stoop to her level and start beating up this woman, because that's not, you know what I mean? That's not the way. I grabbed her by the hair and gently but forcefully took her to the door and threw her out onto the street before slamming it behind her. Mate, brilliant. Brilliant. Another good tactic, right? If you're in an enclosed space with a woman and she's hitting you, is to give her the old face smush, right? It's like put your hand like on her face or on her head and push it gently but firmly against the car door, like just keep it there, because she can't reach you, right? She can't. If you're driving the car, right? This happened to me. It has happened to me, and like she's hitting you and stuff. Just put your hand on her head and push it towards the car door and keep it there until you get out the car, and then get out the car and say, look, no physical stuff. Don't hit me, please. Stop, right? Because you could kill both of you if you crash the car. Because if she's in that kind of a mood, she doesn't care, right? She's just trying to hit you. But yeah, that's how you deal with it as a gentleman, right? You don't hit somebody, you just restrain them gently. You did the right thing there, right? I bet you did it with two hands from behind as well, because you can't really get to you. So two firm hands of the hair towards the door, frog marcher towards the door, kind of like a bouncer would do in a club, right? Open the door and out she goes. You did spot on, mate, spot on. She had no key and kept banging on the door. Of course she did, psycho. I called the cops. Okay, this gets interesting. When they turned up, she told them I'd beat her and kicked her out. Of course she did. Of course. If you get arrested here, I'm going to go and have a cold shower. Luckily for me, my previous complaint was still on file. They checked her over and found nothing wrong with her before knocking on my door. I told them I'd let them in, but she had to stay outside of my house. They agreed, much to her screaming. Whilst the lady officer remained outside, I told the 2 officers inside everything. They took one look at the bags under my eyes, my defeated posture, the state of my place with her stuff all over it, and seemed to put all the pieces together on their own. I offered to get my now ex-girlfriend a few $100 for a nice hotel if she just left me alone and never came back. I would box up all of her stuff for her and put it in a safety deposit box for her, and the police were happy with that and extended the offer to Janice. She was not happy at all, but I guess she figured that she was in my head and that I'd relent after a day or two, and she went to the hotel. So she thinks she's getting like a free night at a nice hotel, a few nights at a nice hotel, and you're going to renege, right? And I bet you were going to as well. Now, never do what I did next, guys. Okay. He says, I couldn't help myself. As her laptop kept beeping away, I eventually opened it, only to find that she was not on Instagram. She was on OnlyFans. Fucking told you. She'd sell nude pics of herself at my apartment and openly bragged about the simp, quote-unquote, she was living with on her own Reddit page under a different name to the one she had given me. In each pic, she was wearing a mask that covered only her eyes. I was beyond livid. I actually sent a message straight to her Reddit account telling her who I was and where I'd found. I said the laptop was open when I went to put it away for her. I told her that her shit would be in a safety deposit box and to never contact me again. She tried constantly to get back with me, of course she did, after this, and I ended up getting a court order against her, which is another story entirely. But beware, guys, sometimes a unicorn of the girl gamer who is into the hobby and good looking is actually more damaged than most of the blokes you come across rolling the dice. Don't ever let somebody poison your hobby against you or take it away. The second it happens, step back and find that backbone. Love, Fox. Okay, so I'm glad this worked out for you in the end, but man oh man, like this could have been avoided like weeks ago. You know, literally the first sign. Dude, women do it to men all the time. Why can't you do it to them? Like, have you ever been on a dating app and the first thing you do that she just doesn't like, and it's nothing. Like, it can be something that she just doesn't like you say, like, you like the colour blue and she likes the colour red, and she just cuts you off. She's like, no, well, that's not what I'm looking for, right? They do it all the time. Why can't we do that? Do that. Exercise some dick discipline. Just say, no, like, you're not for me. You express these behaviours that I don't like. Go fuck yourself, get in the safe, see you later. This is the trouble you can get into, and it worked out for this guy, but in a lot of other places, the police would not have taken his side, and he would be in serious trouble for putting his hands on a woman. Right? Please, please look after yourselves. Take care of yourselves. Make sure you're covered. Make sure you are completely above board. Right? And if physical abuse does happen, tell her. You get one for free, and that's if you love her. That's if you want to stay with her. You get one for free, and as soon as she does it again, leave. Go. Leave. But honestly, even with that, even if you're married to the woman and she loves you, if she hits you for no reason, that's grounds for dismissal for me. Even if I'm married to her, that's grounds for dismissal. I'll literally go, you're now an abusive partner. We're done. You know, I'm only saying that you only get one thing if you're literally it's your soulmate, the mother of your kids, all that sort of stuff. Then, you know, I was a dickhead for even putting up with it the once with a girl. I should have left that girl straight away. But I'm telling you this advice from somebody who knows, right? From somebody who's been there. Because that relationship didn't end up going very well, right? I ended up in a very bad mental place because of it. So, dude, walk away. Us hobbyists get it a lot from a lot of different people, and I know you know having a woman's great and all that sort of stuff, but man, having self-esteem's even better. Look, Love you all long time. I will speak to you tomorrow where we're going to be doing some lore. It's on either the Imperial Fists or the Tau. Put it in if you've watched to the end, you now get to vote. Put it in the comment section down below, Imperial Fists or Tau, and I will do one of those tomorrow. Love you all long time. Have a really good day, and I'll speak to you later. Have a good one.